I feel like I might be slightly a little bit late on this report, but I still have to talk about it on the channel because it is really, really interesting to me. But for those of you who don't know, Adem went on SCN and was asked actually a lot of really important questions about where Richmond's future was going to go. And he had a lot to say. He actually spoke about the plans of us taking pick 2 and pick 3 to the draft. So there's this whole post by Tiger Faithful. I thought I'd report it, give you guys my opinions, and again, I think kind of try and digest what Adem has really said here. But it is being said that Uze spoke on SCM this morning and gave a little insight to our off-season plans. He didn't mince his words. Richmond is once again going to focus on the draft instead of the trade period and free agency that might come, or he says that might come, next year. He also discussed the type of player we may be targeting in this year's draft. Uze noted that we're well stocked at both ends of the ground with our key position players. He highlighted the talent of Lawler, Smiley and Houghton and emphasised that the players we're looking for this year will be those who complement the group that we drafted last year. So what does that mean? Complement is a thing that contributes extra features to something else in such a way as to improve or emphasize its quality. In other words, bringing in players that have a slightly different skill set to the current players to complete the puzzle. So who could he be talking about? Cooper Tyler is obviously completely different as he is an athletic ruckman. Jersma is Mr. Versatile and also has great speed. Sam Grill is a burner of the draft and would give us the run and carry through the middle or half back. Josh Lindsay is a technician with the ball and would give us elite ball use off half back. Doverson gives us a point of difference up forward as a pressure player who also hits the scoreboard hard. Cumming is an aggressive mid/forward who also has great acceleration out of the contest. Who doesn't really fit the bill? Pains me to say it, but Sullivan Roby, very similar to Lawler and Smiley. Grievous is another mid with the same skill set. Dyson Sharp doesn't have the speed or ball skills that complement our group. So yeah, I mean, the Sullivan Roby one is a really interesting guy. He is a player who technically, if this is true, like Adem would not be talking about him, but Sullivan Roby is a guy who I think like 12 weeks ago wasn't even getting a game for the Eastern Rangers. And like now, in the last 5 or so games, I think he's been rated the #1 player in like the whole entire country. Like this guy is a powerful midfielder who's been getting 20 to 25 disposals every game and kicking a couple goals because he can also go down and push forward, and he's just so versatile with that. And he's a little bit like the Sam Lawler kind of type, but I think a little bit different obviously as well. But it is like, yeah, if they are looking to go a little bit different, there are a ton of different players that the Tigers could look at here. And I feel like, you know, Cumming's not a player that I have really spoken about on the channel a whole lot. I feel like he's one that kind of has flown under the radar a little bit in terms of me and some of the other Richmond fans. Like I'm looking at Sam Cumming right here, and this is of course on the draft guru thing by Cal Toomey, but he's actually got him as a 186 centimeter midfielder from North Adelaide slash South Australia. He says it's a shame Cumming's season was ended early by a shoulder injury, but it was at least not before the exciting South Australian pushed himself up the board with a run of excellent games. Cumming is a midfielder slash half forward who is able to mark well above his head and has some different elements to his game, as well as robustness to how he attacks the contest. The big game was a 3-goal performance from 21 disposals in the seniors of North Adelaide to stamp his claim as a very potential early selection. So yeah, I haven't talked really about Cumming that much, but the reality is that Richmond might also be looking at high half forwards in this draft. I have mentioned a little bit of Noah Hibbins-Hargreaves on the channel as well, but I feel like the Tigers may have cooled down a bit on Hibbins-Hargreaves, and he was one of the players that is really big of a mystery on where he's going to go. because in his best, like he had one game for Dandenong where he plays as a wing and as a high half forward, and he kicked 4 goals from like 22 touches and looked unstoppable. But then like the next week's game, which was the game I actually went to go and watch, I actually watched this guy and he had like 14 touches off the wing and they weren't very good at all. He was very inconsistent and just didn't look like there was a whole lot going on. So that was not a good game by him. It actually was the game where they played the Oakley Chargers and Adem Uzay's son was playing. I actually saw Adem Uzay, and I've spoken about this on the channel. I randomly just was like, you know what? I never go up to anyone. I never talk to really anyone of note ever. But this guy was just sitting there and I'm thinking, you know, I don't want to disturb this guy, but I do want to just say hi. And I literally went up to Adem Uzay and I said, hey Adam, I didn't really want to disturb you, but I just want to say I think you're doing a really good job, mate. And he just said, thanks buddy, and literally shook my hand, and that was the conversation. I moved on. It was a literal 10-second conversation. Yeah, I don't know. It was really cool, but that was the game, and Noah Higgins-Hargreaves absolutely stunk it up in front of the Richmond coach. So I really don't know what's going to be going on there, but I don't think Richmond are going to be taking him. But Cumming is an interesting one, of course, that I think it would be kind of cool to maybe see if Richmond looked at. I think Sam Grill is the obvious one that just makes so much sense for Richmond to maybe draft him. I think they desperately need some speed and dash in that inside midfield, and that is absolutely what he can provide in there. I think he's one of the quickest players. He can play on the inside. He can play off half-back. Richmond may start him as a half-back. He may play in the inside midfield as well. I think some people have compared him to like an Errol Goulden when he was in his first couple years, moving around the ground before he found his way to being a full-time, wing at one stage before he kind of popped in the inside too. So he's one. But yeah, Kupidov, Tytler and Dersma, I feel like the Eagles will be looking at them for pick 1. Whether the Eagles have pick 2 or not at the time of making this video, we don't know. They're bringing in Starcevic, which should mean that they don't have it. But they put in a request in the AFL, I think actually kind of said no. But we'll have to wait and see. I feel like they're going to get it in the end. But at the end of the day, Richmond, they will be looking at Kupidov Tytler as well, who is the 200-centimetre ruckman. I don't necessarily know if he fits the bill that Adem Uzay is going to want, because I feel like Uzay is going to want more of a tap ruckman, which Duff Tytler's not. He's more of a Nankervis kind of ruckman who can work around the ground, and I feel like Nank already isn't working with our midfielders to the best of what the midfielders probably want. That's not to do with anything with Nank as a player. It's just that Nank's archetype and play style fits more of that Dimmer Hardwick kind of style that he won premierships in. It doesn't really fit the Adem Uzay contested inside clearance game style, where the Tigers probably need a ruckman who's a tap guy. So to me, that kind of rules out Kupidov Tytler. I don't necessarily think the Tigers should go for him. Willem Dersma is an interesting one. As much as I don't really like any of the Dersmas, you kind of hope that this could be third time's the charm with the Dersmas, and this could finally be the good one. So the fact is that Richmond desperately need a wing, which he can play. Richmond may need another half-back, but probably more of a running, dashing half-back, which I don't know if Dersma is. He probably could still play that role though, but he could fill it. And Richmond also needs some versatility in the inside, which Dersma believes he can also play, which I don't know, but we'll have to wait and see on that. But yeah, that's kind of all the names. Doverson was the only one I didn't mention. I don't think Richmond are going to be taking him. He's like the best small forward in the class, but at the end of the day, Richmond desperately need a new small forward. But I don't know if they're going to go through this year's draft to find one. Plus, you can always get good small forwards with later picks in the draft. And that's what Richmond could be doing. They could be waiting to see if he's available at like pick 20 to 25. And if he is, they might trade a future pick to try and get that. That could very well be what Richmond's game plan is there. But there is a couple guys, again, I think Richmond will be looking at. I think Cumming will be a guy that is on Richmond's radar now. A lot of different players like that I'm wondering if the Tigers may look to maybe pick. And there's still a chance that Richmond trade down if they really want, maybe split the picks. I'm not exactly too sure. But I'm very interested to hear how your thoughts and opinions on this draft is going to go and whatnot. Where do you think Richmond are going to go? Who are they going to pick? Who are they going to select? Definitely don't forget to tell me your thoughts and opinions on this all down below. Make sure to leave a like on the video if you enjoyed it. Subscribe to the channel for latest sports content news. My gaming/movie channel, which will also be linked down below. Go check that out. As well as giving my Instagram a follow if you haven't already, which will also be getting linked down below. But yeah, as I was saying, please make sure to leave a like, subscribe, and comment. And I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.